Hey y'all, welcome back to the 2434 podcast, where anything is possible when we learn from our wins and losses. Heck speaking, and I'm here to give you an update about the NBA season. So, all the regular season awards are out, and I'm here to give you my take on each award. So first, Rudy Gobert dropped won Defensive Player of the Year over Bam Adebayo and Victor Wembanyama. Wemby won Rookie of the Year over Chet Holmgren and Brandon Miller. Mark Daigneault, the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, won Coach of the Year over Chris Finch, the coach of the Timberwolves, and Jamal Mosley, coach of the Magic. Tyrese Maxey won Most Improved Player over Kobe White and Alfred Sengun. Naz Reid won Sixth Man of the Year over Malik Monk and Bobby Portis. And finally, Nikola Jokic, the main one we're going to talk about, the main one that has all the controversy. Nikola Jokic won his third MVP over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic. Before I get started, I would like to congratulate everyone of the award winners, because they all equally have worked their tail off to get to this point. So first things first, I want to tip my hat off to everybody who won the awards, whether the award being Clutch Player of the Year or MVP. But to start, we're going to start off with the Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert won Defensive Player of the Year because the Spurs were in the lottery. I'm going to keep it a beam. If you notice something, Wembanyama had 3.6 blocks per game, which is ridiculous, and 1.2 steals per game as a rookie. Now, if you notice something, because of the Spurs wasn't winning, he kind of got passed over, and they kind of gave it to Rudy Gobert. Now, Rudy Gobert's numbers were solid. He averaged 2.1 blocks per game and 0.7 steals per game as a big, which is impressive. But comparing that to Wemby's otherworldly numbers, you can easily say Wemby should have won Defensive Player of the Year. But in all honesty, how are you going to win Defensive Player of the Year and your team not make the playoff? That doesn't make any sense. I can agree with the decision, but I will sit there and say this. The most terrifying thing about what Wemby was doing is, if Wemby remains healthy for his whole entire career, most definitely he's going to win. Probably he's going to win more defensive MVP. He's going to win more Defensive Player of the Years than Rudy Gobert. Because 3.6 blocks per game is otherworldly, and he's not like he's playing against high school guys. Against guys who are in high school or in 18U. These is pros. With how he's playing and how he's built, it's not going to be about if Wemby's gonna win in the Defensive Player of the Year. It's going to be win. Because just think about it this season, Wemby stopped the 3-on-1 fast break by himself. Like, they dribbled towards him, they seen it was Wemby, and they dribbled it out. Like, to imagine that, so for him doing that as a rookie, give him some time, let him fill into his frame. I'm a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And for Bam had a solid season, but Wemby and Gobert really overshadowed him, to keep it 100 with you. Next award we're going to be talking about is Victor Wembanyama winning Rookie of the Year over Chet Holmgren and Brandon Miller. Now, this award was the obvious choice. Wemby had an overall better year than Chet and Brandon Miller, and Wemby was the primary scorer on his team, while Chet was playing with an MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and was like, and Jalen Williams, and I believe he was a third or fourth option on that team. And Brandon Miller, even though he had a great year this year, he really wasn't really all inspiring, to be honest. Like he didn't have something that just sat there and go. Now Wemby averaged 20 and 12, and honestly, what's crazy about the Rookie of the Year. He has a lot of room to grow, and that's what's the terrifying thing about Wemby. Now, in short, I kind of expected it because even though when there was a couple months they were saying Chet win Rookie of the Year, but with all the hype that Wemby was receiving coming into the draft, and coming into the season, he actually lived up to it. And honestly, there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to win Rookie of the Year. So the next award that we're going to talk about is Tyrese Maxey winning MIP over Kobe White and Alfred Sengun. Now, this choice was extremely difficult but I think they got it right. Tyrese Maxey averaged 25 a game, was an all-star this season, and honestly took a massive role and a massive jump to cover for Embiid's absences. Right? Kobe White's points per game jumped up 10 points per game. So he went from averaging 9 last year to like 19 this year. And while Alfred Sengun, they really gave him an opportunity to put the ball. They had the ball in his hands a lot more. Alfred Sengun was playing like a mini Jokic in Houston. So this decision was not an easy one, but I can agree with it because Tyrese Maxey got the 76ers a game in the playoffs. Alfred Sengun was missed the latter half of the year because of injuries. And honestly, Kobe White had a great year. But honestly, I think Maxey had a more overall better improvement than Kobe White. Now, I'm gonna tip my hat off to Billy Donovan because he's getting the most out of his players. He's getting the most out of Kobe White. When he was drafted, he had expectations to be a starting caliber guard or a star. And let's just sit there and say he wasn't really at that role that they was looking for. But because they put the ball in his hands a lot more, it kind of shows that he can actually play. Now, I hope what Billy Donovan does is he figured when Lonzo Ball comes back, he doesn't mess up Kobe White's rhythm, because first things first, we don't know what stage Lonzo's going to come back to, and second, Lonzo Ball was a ball dominant guard, so we don't really know how that's going to happen, but I generally want to see how that team builds moving forward. Finally, the main award that we're going to talk about, and the one that decides legacies, and the most controversial one, is Nikola Jokic winning his third MVP over the likes of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic. So first things first, I don't know if y'all seen TNT. Shaq basically pulled a Kanye West. So for those who are uninitiated, Taylor Swift won a Grammy for a song or something, I forgot. And Kanye West hopped on stage and said, "Hey guys," he said, "Hey, congratulations on winning the award, but Beyonce should have won it." But then say, "Shaq." That's foul for Shaq to say right at the moment as he's introducing the award. But now my question is, does Shaq have a point? Is the gap between Shai and Jokic wasn't that distant. Jokic averaged 26, 12, and 9, and Shea averaged 36-5. They both had the same record, and even though Shea was the 1 seed via tie breaks, right? And if we want to sit there and talk about the player who had the better numbers, Joel Embiid would have averaged 30 was on pace to average 35 a game, but he got hurt. And Luka Doncic averaged 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists, and he finished in third place. So Shaq saying that Shea should have won it over Jokic, I don't agree with that statement, excuse me. Now, my question is, how are they voting MVP? If they're voting for the best player on the best team, then it will go to Jokic, because I'm gonna be honest with you, Jokic should have won it last year, but Embiid had an outstanding year last year. This year, Embiid would have won it if he didn't get hurt. But if and would have, could have, should have, are the words of the unsuccessful. And Jokic was argued that he could have won it last year, and he had better numbers this year. Three more importantly, even though Shea was the 1 seed, honestly, it was decided by a game and tie breaks and stuff. When they lost to the Spurs, they found that game the Nuggets did not play their starters because they was preparing for the finals, for the playoffs, excuse me. So honestly, I think they got the MVP. They got it right with this year because Jokic had an outstanding year. Now, and if they really wasn't going to give it to anybody, I would have generally thought they was going to give it to Luka, because Luka was going crazy. But I'll sit there and say this: if for future references, the MVP got to be decided. They got to figure out a plan or an action to decide how they're going to vote MVP, because in the end, bro, are we doing it by the best numbers or the best statistical season? Because if it's the best statistical season, Luka should have won it as a 5 seed. If it's for the best player on the best team, then it should have went to Joker. If it's for the best story, then Shea should have got it this year. But hey, y'all in the comment section, share your opinion below. With that being said, thank y'all for tuning into the 2434 podcast. Like, share, subscribe. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the drill. We turn down.